was really just a full breakdown, everything that you need to learn, basically the A to Z.
From where to start, exactly what to do, how to do it, all the systems and programs.
The resources and things that were given throughout the training was just phenomenal.
All right, mic's on. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome to Deal Desk. I'm really excited for today's guest. It's going to be really interesting. If this is your first time coming in, welcome. The way this basically works is I bring guests on here that I know are other closers in the industry. I want you to see what different styles look like. We've had great guests on the show. We've got signed contracts, accepted offers. We got people yelled at. We never know what we're going to get, but it's really interesting. So if this is your first time tuning in, you can head over to the reitoolbox.com, submit your leads to be called live, okay? They will call your leads. If they don't answer, they'll call one more time. If they don't answer, we move on to the next lead. You're more than welcome to resubmit the lead, so it goes to the top of the list. We have tons of leads. It's been about a year and a half since I've been doing this. I haven't had a chance to even recycle the list, okay? But if we don't get to your lead, bring it up to the top. By the way, if the guest gets somebody on the line where they get an accepted offer or contract, or maybe the seller says, hey, I have another property, I will mute them to keep your leads confidential. And that's basically it. So today's guest, we have Max. Let's bring up Max here. What's going on, Max?
Not much, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Let's go.
You ready to make some calls today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bro. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited, brother. I've watched, this show, and it's awesome to see what you're doing, and it's great for the community, bro. I love it.
Yeah, no, I always I love having different people on here, especially looking forward to you because everybody's style is so different. And this is just a great way for the audience just to kind of learn different tips, tricks, and strategies from everybody, right? Just learn what works. Maybe I might take a piece of what Max is doing, RJ's doing, Nick, Steven, whatever, and then they implement it, throw on flavor in it. So it's gonna be
100%.
interesting. But for those that don't know you or don't know, well enough, can you tell us a little bit more about what your background is, who you are, how did you get into real estate? Do you have any sales experience? Like, how did you get good over the phones and all that stuff?
Yeah, so I've been in sales for about 10 years. I'm in, and I'll get a little bit into that, touch a little bit on that, but I'm here in Phoenix, Arizona. That's the market I'm in. We're also in the second market, which is in Oklahoma. And I started wholesaling, found out about wholesaling back in 2015. And so I got into it part-time, right? I was working a job and doing this on the side after work. And then I went into it by the end of 2016. It took end of 2015, I went to my first real estate workshop. That was in October. And then ended up quitting my job like 10 months later. After getting my first deal, took about 10 months doing bandit signs and letters, brother. There was none of this, what we're doing right now for the most part.
Yeah.
So, but that created perseverance and grind. And I knew this is what I wanted to do. And then fast forward a couple years later, obviously, my business partner, Steve Trang, I'm partnered up with him. So, and it's been a crazy wild ride. Sales has always been, going back to what I was saying, been doing sales for about 10 years. It's always been something that I love. It's a passion of mine. And the last 4 years of those 10 years, I went in and hired a sales coach through a certain program. And, I've been doing some sales training through there. And then what we're doing now is just giving back to the community, and giving them some sales skills that can help them and things like that. So yeah, it's been a wonderful ride overall.
That's amazing. So you had sales experience. You've been doing it for a while. How did you find out that kind of transition specifically to like real estate acquisitions and all that? How was that transition? Because some people it's easy transition. Some people it's difficult. What was that transition like? And also, what advice would you give to somebody kind of starting out?
Yeah, that's a good point because, a lot of sales per se, it involves selling a product or a service, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, the transition was that I came into this, and one of the things I had to get away from was I'm not selling a service, I'm not selling a product, right? And I had to shift to, okay, so now I'm trying to buy a house, or I'm wanting to buy a house, but now it's all about, for me, it was like, okay, so it's the seller that I have to connect with, right? And I don't think that's the part that of that sales aspect that doesn't go away is the connection, the building rapport. Because no matter if you're selling a product or you're selling a service, they won't buy without building a rapport or without you building rapport and getting them to trust you and feel comfortable doing business with you. That was the biggest leap, I think, getting away from like, hey, you're no longer selling a car, you're no longer selling credit repair, because that's what I was doing, right?
Yeah.
but overall, taking those building rapport skills into this and making sure that we're connecting, and also getting like I said, getting the seller, the prospect to trust you, feel comfortable to do business with you. That doesn't change, right?
Yeah, it's very different because it's like a switch. Like I used to do door-to-door selling stuff, but like
Okay.
you took the same skill set and applied it to something, but you're actually making an offer on it.
Exactly.
One thing I noticed you said is like building rapport, right? So, doing this stuff virtually, closing deals over the phone, it takes a certain amount of rapport for somebody to trust you that they've never met to really sign their house over to you.
Yeah.
What ways do you feel works for you when you're building rapport with somebody? Is there a specific part of the script, or like what does that look like for you when you're building rapport?
Yeah, I think the first thing is for me is that I want to make sure that I have somebody that's engaged, an engaged prospect, right? So because then what that's going to do, it's going to give me to be able to ask questions, and questions that have to do with them, and so. And because at the end of the day, when we call, when we're cold calling or we're warm calling, whatever the case may be, and we're talking to sellers, it's about them. It's not really about us. But the tip that I can give to somebody is that make sure you have somebody that's willing to engage. And I think, Steven, you're big on this, right? If you don't have somebody that's, giving back, you're genuinely asking questions, you're being genuine about and mirroring, right? That's a big thing too. Like you can't talk to, somebody that's older, like if you were talking to me as a driver or Steven as a driver, right? And vice versa. Like you have to realize that right off the back. But if I don't have someone that's engaged, to where I can ask questions and build rapport off that, and the biggest thing that I've where you can build rapport off is get them talking about themselves, right, and what's going on in their situation, and potentially, you'll be able to dive into the property to get into the information about the property.
Yeah, have them talk about themselves. I was talking to this guy yesterday, and like he was just talking, 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 talking. But like
Yeah.
some people, do you believe there's such thing as like overkill on rapport? Like somebody just keeps talking forever that you almost have to cut them off. How do you redirect somebody back to the questions you need to answer in a non-rude way? Like you want to do it
Yeah,
polite.
yeah. 100%, man. You can so there's a difference between building rapport, getting your questions answered to move the sale forward, and then there's
Yeah.
the part of just ranting to talk to you because they're bored, right? And it
Yeah.
happens, bro. I get that all the time, especially with the older people. But a real good way to get back on track is actually letting them know, like, hey, excuse me, Steven, I'm trying to do my best here to keep up with you. I'm writing some stuff down and I don't want to miss. Can you hold on for me just 1 second while I write this down? And
Mm.
they absolutely do not take offense to that. Oh man, that's awesome. You're actually writing these things down. And then what happens? You can always come back and then ask your question to move you to the next phase of the sales funnel or your script. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's a great tip. Um, So you guys do this stuff virtually, or are you going on appointments, or what does your business look like right now?
Right now, it's about I would say 65 to 70% virtual, right? Because we have a market in Oklahoma, we're not in there.
Mhm.
And then we have Tucson, which is a market an hour and a half from us. We never ever go down there. That's all virtual. Sometimes we'll go down there if we need to get pictures afterwards. The main the in-house the in-person appointment is here in Phoenix, so that's the other 30 to 40%. It's all here in Phoenix. Yeah.
Phoenix is for some people they say, oh, New York's too competitive, Los Angeles too competitive, Phoenix is too competitive. I mean, Phoenix is like they call that the land of the gurus over there. Um, do
The
you
mecca of the
feel
gurus.
Yeah. Do you feel it's I don't know, a good thing, bad thing when they say there's competition? Like what how do you guys separate yourself from other companies, investors in competitive areas?
Yeah, one thing that so two things. I'll touch on two things. The first thing is that I know there's competition. I know that we have to, we're not the only ones potentially talking to sellers. Never. It's never that case. The difference is timing, bro. It's always has been. You can call someone today, and if you don't follow up with them, or if you don't call them, whenever they ask you to call back, or for example, you don't keep calling them. Well, guess what? Max is gonna call them in 4 days, and guess what? I'm gonna catch them at the right time, and they're
Mm,
gonna sell to me because they didn't sell to you that day that you called them, right? That's really a lot of it is timing, is how good your follow up game is, and make sure that you stay on top of your leads. The second thing is when it comes down to what is your competitive advantage, right? And that's the thing that a lot of people don't learn, or don't get to a point where they that you ask them what's your competitive advantage, they don't know. They're just winging it. So if you can get to those two things to think about, timing. If you have a prospect that you build rapport with and you're working with, but let's say they didn't sell you on the first call,
mm.
man, do a good job of following up, because if you don't call them back, guess what? Somebody else is going to call them. And that when they call them, they're ready to sell that time, because you didn't call them. And for us here locally, I mean, what helps us, our competitive advantage, right, is that we're coming in with the mindset. This was something I talked about yesterday, is that act as if, I'll walk into an appointment, I'll do a call acting as if I don't need the deal, right? It's more of the push
Mm.
away. And it's a mindset thing, right? I get it. There's some new guys that are starting now, and maybe they do need the deal. But I think if you can start with that mindset, even if you haven't done your first deal, act as if, because that's going to give you a competitive advantage over a lot of people that don't do that, right?
Yeah, I love that you said that it's a mindset thing because when you're doing this stuff over the phone, people got to realize that the people don't see you; they can only hear you, right?
Yeah.
So tonality actually plays a big part in if somebody's going to trust you or not. And if you feel like, man, I need this deal, I've had a bad week, like they're going to sense that you're like really thirsty. And I don't know
You know
about
what
you,
I call that, Steven?
what
Commission breath.
commission bread? Commission
Right?
bread. I like that.
Commission breath, right? Because
Make some commission mints for that breath because if they smell that breath through the phone, they're gonna walk away, run away from you.
yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
you got to have that mindset. This person needs me more than I need them. You're offering to buy their house. I love that you said like that's really important having that mindset. And I feel like that's what separates a lot of people success from maybe somebody starting out new.
Yeah.
Like itching
You
for
know,
that deal
and
so much.
and and I didn't know that I didn't have that mindset for a very long time, right? It's not like something
Mhm.
you're born with or something you have to adjust to it. And we've even went as far, like, our sales coach, which is crazy, actually taught us this. He says, you're not he goes, you're not buying their house with your money. They're buying your money with their house. Now imagine what that would do for you if you
Mm.
change that mentality, right?
Yeah.
You start to ingrain that. You start to act as if, I have $1 million in the bank and I don't need this deal, right? And I get it. Sounds all, mystical and stuff, but honestly, it really helps, because then you don't portray what Steve said, right? What Steven is saying is that you're not portraying that you need this deal, and you're trying to convince somebody that's not even motivated to sell to you.
Mm, that's interesting. Yeah. So we know that you kind of are partners with Steve Train. How did you guys meet? And like what made you guys a lot of people it's really important. Some people they get a partner for moral support and some
Yeah.
people get a partner that maybe they bring value table or something. There's got to be it's like a partnership is almost like a marriage, right?
Yeah, of
Like
course.
how
Hmm.
did you guys what did you guys click with each other and felt like you guys would be a good fit for each other?
Yeah, man. So what's crazy is when I was doing real estate part time, right? When I shared with you a little bit ago, um, I went to a transition period where I actually stopped watching TV, the music, all the stuff, that everybody does. And I dove deep into self-development.
Mm,
And I did that for about 4 to 5 months. In the car, I was listening to audiobooks, watching webinars. That was huge back then, the webinars.
yeah.
There wasn't live things like we're doing now. And I just through that 4 months, at the end of it, I didn't like being at my job where I was at. Like I started to hate it, and that wasn't me, bro. Like that was not normal for me to feel like that. But
Mm,
because I had worked on my mindset, real estate was the vehicle that I wanted to use. I was like, and obviously I was married, had kids, so I didn't want to take the jump fully yet. So what I did is I'm like, man, what if I can find somewhere where I can work with someone and give me an opportunity so I can be around real estate? And so what I did is I found an ad on Craigslist, and I shared this with another podcast. And so the ad said, you know, it was a survey you have to fill out, and then you have to leave a voicemail. And in that voicemail, I left the voicemail saying, hey, my name is Max Jimenez. I filled out your survey. All I want is an opportunity. And if it doesn't work out in 30 days, you have permission to fire me. And I wouldn't even affect me. And so I got a call back, kid you not more than 3 minutes. And it was, the person on the other line was Steve, bro. It was Steve that was on the other line. And sure enough, came in for an interview, and I worked with him for 3 months. I was booking appointments, but I was still wholesaling, and I'd worked for 3 months, and I actually ended up closing my first deal in the transition of working there. And I ended up making I think it was like $11,800. And I came back, told Steve, hey man, I need to talk to you. I'm giving you my 2 weeks notice. And I left. Yeah. I went on my own for about, that was the end. So hired August 2016, ended up leaving October 2016. And then fast forward to 2018, he reached out to me, went and had lunch, you know, shared with him some of my vision, some of his vision, and what I didn't want to do, what he didn't want to do. And it was perfect, bro. Like it aligned perfectly. He has the strengths that he has, and I have the strengths that I have, like you were saying earlier. Yep. And it's worked out well so far, man. Thank God.
I love that. I hope you guys took note of that. You know, if you're ever looking for a job out there, if it doesn't work out, you have permission to fire me in 30 days. I don't really hear too many voicemails like that when I put an ad out that I'm hiring. That's really good. I got to ask you this, Max, because I heard there was a rumor. Okay. I heard there was a rumor that somewhere out there, maybe in the metaverse or something, there might be a little mixtape, little mixtape, an album. Maybe it's unreleased. Maybe it's only going to be played on Kanye West's STEM player. I don't know where it is, but what I got to ask you about that.
Yeah, so I've been looking for it, bro, since I brought it back up. My brother-in-law. Yeah, but well, you know, back then is like we didn't put it on a CD. I think we saved it on a file somewhere.
LimeWire.
LimeWire or something, right? I have the old laptop. I need to bring it up this weekend. So my brother-in-law was doing he was going to engineering school, and he needed this is how this happened. This is so crazy, bro. So he was going to engineering school, and he was working on a project, and I said, what do you need help with? He goes, well, I'm gonna make the beats, and you know, I gotta produce and all that. And I said, what do you need me to do? And he's like, well, he goes, you think you could write some songs? And I'm like, what? So it was kind of a fun project, and we put it together, bro. And actually, it came out really good. Obviously, I'm saying that because it was me that did it. So once I find it, bro, I'll let you listen to it. And we actually did 4 songs, which was crazy. Yeah. So
what was the name of the album?
I don't even know, bro. We didn't even name it.
El Cerrador.
El Cerrador, loco.
I mean, some of these guys are out here making some music. Hey, I mean, you heard Aaron. I mean, I think Q even got into the mix. Maybe you guys did a little collab.
Yeah, we could.
I used to make beats. That was,
did you? Okay.
I had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
You know, I had a lot of
I listened to Aaron's, man. It's actually really good. It's really good.
Yeah, I think we should get him on here.
Yeah,
maybe we can get Steve Trang, Q, Aaron. If you guys want to see that, let me know and I'll reach out.
Yeah, that'd be dope, man.
That's awesome, man. So, one thing I got asked too is like something a lot of people struggle with, and a lot of people handle this differently, but this business consists of getting yelled at, called a scam. I mean, you get stuff thrown at you all the time. On top of that, you know, there's a lot of regulation coming. How do you handle rejection? How do you overcome objections? What is your mindset with that? And what's your business plan? Let's say this business is regulated. I mean, what would you change?
Yeah, so quite a bit to unload there. So let's start with, you know, with the part of, you know, the calling and getting rejected and you know, having a lot of objections. You know, one thing that we do here when, you know, we don't have a lot of acquisition guys, but because we're very selective on who we hire, but we always tell them, bro, we're straight, we're like very transparent. Like, dude, this business is hard. Like, it's a hard business. We're in the grind. I mean, you're going to get your face kicked. That's actually what we're saying in the interview. Like, you're going to go through a lot.
Face kicks?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
The seller or you and Steve?
No, not me, bro. And so, you know, and we take it to the extreme, right? But it's part of the business, bro. And I think the faster you start to realize that, again, going back to what we were saying earlier about mindset, right? If you think that you're going to come into this business and in 90 days you're going to, basically crush it and be, there's some people that they have crushed it, but that's because they put the work in, right? They're not afraid to, go through the objections and the rejections. I think the faster you realize that this is part of the business and who you are, I mean, you can do affirmations. I know a lot of people do pre-call affirmations,
Elijah did that on one
Eli
of the calls.
did he?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you have Elijah. There's a lot of different things that you can do in regards to, making sure that you're gonna go through that. But the biggest thing for me is that, man, realize the faster that you tell yourself, I know that I'm going to get rejection and I'm going to get objections. But one of these sellers has my money. It's a matter of which one it is that I talk to. Right.
Mm.
And I think Steven, it comes down to like, how bad is your situation? Because at the end of the day, this is not for everybody. I knew
No.
for me,
Yeah.
bro, like I didn't want to be financially strapped anymore. I didn't want to be broke pretty much right anymore. That was my driving determinator. And that's why I was out at midnight putting out bandit signs, right, with my son,
Mm.
sending out letters and stuff like that. And it's the same thing on the phones, right? You got to have that why. You got to find out that why you want to do this, because it's not for everybody. And as far as regulations, I mean, really simple for us because we're already positioned for it. It's just everybody's just got to have to be licensed, bro. That's really what it comes down to, right? Get the real estate license. Steve's got a brokerage. I'm not licensed, but I'm owner of the business. But we'll have our acquisitions be licensed, and Steve's licensed already as the other part owner of the business. So we're positioned for it. I know a lot of people are worried and things like that, but we're ready for that. Whatever happens with that. Yep.
I'm actually looking forward to regulation because it's going to weed out a lot of people that maybe do business unethically
100%.
or they don't know what they're doing. And it's just like the people that have been doing it for a while and do it the right way. You just got to adjust.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's funny you say that, and maybe there's going to be people out here that don't like this, but that's why regulation is coming, right? When you see posts like, "Hey guys, tomorrow's closing day, and I'm going to ask for a $60,000 price drop. Wish me luck." Like that's something
I
that
saw that somewhere, man.
Yeah, I posted it. I posted it on
Yeah.
my stories.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
you? Okay.
yeah, I posted it on my stories.
Yeah. That's what are your thoughts on that? Price drops, right? So let's talk about that before we make some
Sure.
calls, because
Sure.
that is a very controversial subject. Some
Yeah.
gurus out there teach it
Yeah.
to do it on purpose. Some people don't teach it. What are your thoughts on price? Well, first of all, what is price dropping?
Right.
And how do you guys go about that? What are your thoughts about that?
So people call it price drop, retrade. There's a lot of different names, and so we've price dropped before. I'm not saying that we don't do it, right? Because it's the nature of the business, especially when you do virtual stuff. You're gonna run into a situation where you're gonna have to go back to the seller and say, "Hey," but that's a legitimate price drop for us, right? Because what we're doing is we're looking at the property and we're upfront. Actually, we tell the seller before we even contract it, like, look, these numbers may work right now. What we're going to do is the offer that we're making you is an offer that we feel comfortable. It's an offer you can depend on. But obviously, we want to get the pictures, and we're going to have somebody go out there. There's a potential that we might see something where maybe we need to make an adjustment, right? Now, a lot of times there's sellers that will say, well, did you want to come out and look at it before and give you access? And absolutely, we can do that, right? There's some sellers that will sign it and say, okay, perfect. But we're always upfront with them. No matter what, we're telling them that's going to happen. And yeah, we send whoever we send out, and then they found out, that foundation's bad, the roof is shot. So then we go back to the seller and we say, here's what we found out. Here's what they're telling us. And then we work with the seller and we work it through it. Right. I think, I think that's the real, like an actual way to price drop, because you are running into a situation. Now, the other side of that coin is you got individuals that are locking up contracts 95 to 99% ARV, because all these hedge funds, right, that are buying, and they just lock it up. They're like, let's just get it under contract, get the seller committed. And then the inspection period goes by, right? And a few weeks go by. I mean, most of them don't do it like on the day of closing, but I've heard, and because we don't do it in our business, close to closing, call the seller up and, hey, here's what, talk to, something came up. And I don't know how it's done, bro, exactly. But from when I see those posts, I'm like, that's why regulation is coming. So there is a legitimate way to price drop. And then there's the gimmick and the tactic that I don't believe in, which is pretty bad for the business, because those people are the ones that are talking to the attorney general. Those people are the ones that are complaining, you know, to the real estate board and stuff like that. And that's what drives, you know, the politics of that.
Yeah, no, I 110% agree with that. You know, price drops, sometimes you have to do them, but
Yeah.
it's not like you lock it up with the intention of doing it. Things will come up during inspection. That's there to protect us, and that's the point of the
Yeah.
picture. Sometimes homeowners tell you things, and like you go to the property, it's complete opposite. So now the
Exactly.
offer changes, but like locking it up with the intention of I'm gonna drop it drastically. You know, you're playing with people's lives at this point. Some
Yeah.
people may already start moving, or you know, they get excited and like, you know, I'm happy regulations coming. We're ready.
Yeah.
Are you ready to make some calls?
I am, bro. Let's get to it.
All right, perfect. So before he starts making calls, make sure you guys click that like and subscribe button. This is completely free. I don't ask for much except for you to do that. The first house you have here is in Detroit. It is a haunted house. Do you buy, or you have experience with buying haunted houses?
You know what? I think I bought one haunted house in my life. It was an awesome experience. I think that's the fastest I ever ran, bro.
Awesome. And by the way, if you guys have any questions for Max, drop them in the chat.
Yes.
We try to save some time till the end. Oh, by the way, Max, where can people get to know you more, get a hold of you? Maybe you have some kind of courses or programs or workshops.
You know, the easiest way the easiest way for people to reach out to me is through Instagram. I'm very super active on Instagram, and you can see my Instagram handle on their real Max Jimenez. You know, that's the best way. You can DM me. I actually will answer the DMs. Obviously, sometimes not the same day because I get a lot, but I am pretty active. Or, you know, you can go to our website, which is disruptors.com/Max. Pretty simple. Disruptors with the plural with an s.com/Max. And you know, it's I'm very accessible, bro. You know, through Instagram. So, and I drop a lot of stuff on Instagram. Everything that you guys are gonna see that I talk about on Instagram, you're gonna see it right now. We don't just talk about it or teach it; we actually implement it and use it as well too.
Let's go. Max is a boss. All right, guys, let's get to it. First deal or first
All right,
lead.
let's call John. Let's see. So the notes are saying, one tip, guys, is if you have VAs that are calling for you while I'm dialing this number, don't get caught up too much on the notes. Okay, I see this a lot where people make mistakes, Stephen, that they get caught up on too much of what the notes are doing. A lot of times sellers will tell a VA something else that that they won't actually tell you, right? They're going to be more open with you. Do you find that as well, Stephen? I'm going to dial this number.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let me see.
Boarded up windows.
Yeah, it looks like it's a duplex. Nice.
Needs a lot of work. All right. You ready?
Yeah, this one looks like it's a deal. Just a matter of fact, him answering.
Back to 24851.
Detroit.
You can hear that?
Yep, we hear it loud and clear.
Cool. Okay, don't answer. Quick tip, guys. If they don't answer, call them right back, back to back. Now think about that while I'm doing this. When someone calls you back to back, say you have kids, you have a family members, they're gonna answer right away because they might think it's somebody in emergency. That's a quick tip. So let's see if John answers. All right, so no answer from John. Let's see.
You have reached.
Yeah, so he didn't answer. Let me follow up real quick on that comment. Yeah, what we do in the office, our guys do sometimes they'll do triple back to back. Because think about it, right? Steven, you have kids, I have kids. And I don't know if your kids are in school yet, but you get a call from an unknown number and it's back to back. Typically, you're gonna probably 8 out of 10 times you're gonna answer that number, right? Because you're either thinking it's maybe somebody, a family member, it could be an emergency. You don't know what it is. If you're not doing that, I highly, highly recommend doing that because that's going to give you a higher connection rate because of that, right? It's a very strategic way to get people on the phone if you're not doing that already. Let's see. Catherine. So it looks like she was, let's look here. Let's call Catherine.
In Georgia now?
Yeah, Georgia. Okay. Let's see if she answers. All right, Georgia.
Please press 1. Connect to 678.
All right, so all right, looks like no answer on that one too. And I'm probably not going to do for the sake of time back to back on all these. I just wanted to do it on the first one, Steven, so that way people can see what we do here internally. And like I said, sometimes we'll do triple dial, so triple callback, so that way. But I won't do that here. Look, we're gonna. I guess then all the next ones are in Georgia. Let's call this next one Ray.
You got a lot in Georgia.
Yeah. So where are your followings at, bro?
Got tons. Somebody dumped their whole CRM in here, man. Holy cow. Georgia. Well, we got from Texas, New Jersey. Okay.
You want me to go through the Georgia list or what?
Yeah,
Or you want me to?
Yeah, go ahead and go through that.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to see if you can connect somebody in New Jersey. Those calls have always been interesting.
I'll do one of those. Let me first call this person here. See if they answer. Ray, let's talk to Ray.
784.
Investment property. Ooh, I love these conversations. Equity trust company. Wait, did this just sell? Oh no.
You've reached the voicemail for Ray Schaefer. I'm unable.
All right, so no answer on that one. Let's me call one more in Georgia. Let's see. Let's see. 49490. How do you say that name? Is it Idris? Idrisu?
Idrisu Yunus.
Idrisu. Idrisu Jesus.
He's got 2 properties. Actually, I think this is a duplicate. So
Yeah, it is a duplicate, bro.
Please leave your message for.
Come on. Nobody wants to talk. And this happens, right? I think this is part of the process. It's it's a numbers game. At the end of the day, you have to, go through a lot of no answers. You have to go through a lot of rejections. and but again, it's a numbers game. You don't know, and this is why you can't stop, because the as soon as you stop, what's going to happen is that your next call could be that person that's going to answer, and you're going to have a conversation with. Is this the property you're showing, Steven? Is the Farrington Farms one? Okay, perfect.
Yep.
All right, let's call this guy up. Bob's got a lot of properties.
Might be a whale.
Yeah, let's see. All right, let's call Bob.
Connect to 305.
This guy's gonna answer. He's a business guy. I can guarantee you he's gonna answer. Yeah, typically when you have somebody that owns multiple properties or it's an investor, they're usually picking up the phone. Make sure I dialed the number correctly. Let me see. Yeah, that's the right number. All right, so we're gonna move down to Jimenez. All right, perfect.
Connect to 770.
Excellent condition. This is a rental property. They're considering selling.
706.
Woo. Right, let's see. Let's call Lisa. Yeah, I love so that lead that we just called right now, Steven. I love those leads, right? Because I think it could be a mom and pop situation where they have that rental property. And a lot of times with those leads, they're usually a lot hotter because they could be going through a situation where they don't want to be they could be a tired landlord. They might not own a large portfolio. So I love talking to those people. Two reasons why is one, because of that, right? It could be a tired landlord. Maybe the tenants that they've had, might have trashed the place. The second thing is that, they're in some sense, they have at least an understanding of what you do. So the conversation is spent more on either getting in negotiations than actually educating the seller on how your process works. That's why I love talking to those people, even though they're
really
not
important.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was saying that's really important. Sometimes you got to educate the sellers how the process.
Yeah, because you're talking to, I always say this, you're talking to individuals that have, haven't, only bought one property in 15, 20 years. So, all right, Lisa, let's call Lisa.
One of these got to answer the phone.
I know, bro. Let's see if Lisa picks up.
To connect to 67.
Oh, Lisa gave us a number. I love it.
Okay.
Hello?
Lisa.
Yeah.
Hi, Lisa. It's Max. Probably caught you at a bad time.
Yes.
I did. Oh, hi. Yeah, my name is Max. I'm calling you because you had spoken to someone on my team about your property over on Carlisle Place.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not going to sell right now. I'm not going to sell. I still want to keep it.
Oh, okay. What changed from the last time you talked to him? Because I'm seeing that you spoke with them, and you guys. It looks like you even had an idea of what you wanted for the property.
Yeah. They spoke to me like 3 weeks ago. I'm changing my mind. I'm not going to sell right now.
Oh, what changed?
Huh? I'm not going to sell. I want to keep this one because the value it goes up right now. So I'm not going to sell now. I'm not going to sell now.
Okay, that's all right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
you.
Is there any other properties you would consider selling besides that one?
No, not right now. Not right now because all for rent. So I don't want to go into sale now.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. So So I know a lot of us like to move on pretty fast when they say they're not looking to sell, but because there was a situation here, right? She already has spoken with someone. She gave us a price. I just want to know what changed, and maybe she can tell us something they didn't tell them or whoever spoke with this lead. The other thing too is that I probed a little bit, and I called out her own data. Like, I said, hey, you just curiosity, what changed? Because obviously when you spoke to us, you gave us a certain amount that you wanted. Notice I didn't say the number. I don't want to say the number because it's going to get programmed in their mind, and I don't know if that number works or not. And then the second thing is that she kept saying, no, I don't want to sell, that's cash flowing, that's fine. Do you have any other properties to sell? And she did, right? She had other properties. She just they weren't for sale. So I like doing that. That's another tip when you're talking to people. Always assume that they might have another opportunity. I could have went as farther as, do you know anybody else that might be considering selling? Because they might know someone. You don't know. For the most part, a lot of people don't have multiple properties, but it's always a shot. So let's try Harold. Let's see where he's at.
Mr. Harold, we got a few left in Georgia.
Yeah, I see that, bro. Nobody's picking up. Everybody's at brunch.
This is an interesting house. Let me see if I can pull this up.
They're at lunch and having what is Georgia? What do they drink, bro? Iced tea?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Georgia's known for peaches.
For peaches. Drinking iced tea and eating peach pie. Let's see. Let's call Harold. What is going on? Oh, there we go.
Look at this house.
Wow. Is that a mobile home?
No. Interesting.
Hello? Hello? Hello, Harold? I think Harold's watching TV. Let me call him back. Let's see. Maybe his phone got stuck. What is that, bro? Is that like it's a house, huh?
Interesting architecture.
It's a box with windows, bro. Yeah, now he's not picking up. All right, let's move on.
Netflix, man. He don't want to be disturbed.
He's watching the novelas.
That was Harold.
Yeah, Daisy. Let's go to Daisy. All right, let's talk to Daisy. Another Georgia property. All right.
770.
Man. All right. All right, no answer on that. Again, guys, you might be thinking like, man, the leads suck, or you might be thinking like, are these wrong numbers? I mean, for the most part, I'm hearing the voicemail, and it's this is part of what happens. This is part of the process. This is part of prospecting. So you can't, you like I said earlier, is you got to continue going through the motion. You got to continue. That's why it's very important that you have a hard why, so you can go through this, because you can get tired pretty quick. But what I can say, if you don't quit and you keep going, the next one is going to be that deal that you're looking for. So again, this is pretty normal. It's nothing out of the norm. I would say, if you agree with that, Steven.
Get rid of these Georgia ones. There's 2 left here.
Are you want to move down?
No,
or you want me to just call it? Okay.
There's 3 left in Georgia. Then we're moving on to Texas.
Let's see, Paul. Talk to Paul. Paul's gonna answer, bro. think Paul's feeling like selling a house today. Paul's feeling like selling his house today. That's what I got a feeling of.
70962.
Low 200s. Oh, here we go.
Call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Interesting. Okay, let's move on. Let's see. Miss McCarthy. Or, yeah, Mrs. McCarthy. All right. I think Mrs. McCarthy's at home waiting for my call, Steven. What do you think?
You think so? Everybody in Georgia is busy today, man.
I'm telling you, bro, it's tea and peach pie time, bro. We're intervening.
2 more left in Georgia. Next one's in Atlanta.
Let's see, Matthew for condition. Oh, it's a rental property.
Please leave your message for 6788849.
Man, okay, let's move on to Texas.
You want to call that one in Atlanta real quick?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't. Okay.
You just got 1 left in Georgia. I know it's been painful, Georgia. Somebody dumped their whole CRM in Georgia. But,
they owe us lunch, bro, for that. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's call. Who is this? Robert?
Roberts. Come on, Atlanta. Pick up the phone.
ATL, let's go, baby. Pecan Street.
Is it pecan or pecan?
I don't know, bro. Arizona, we say pecan.
Please leave your message.
All right, so we know that Georgia around this time drinking tea and eating peach pie. So we can't call them, bro.
All right. Moving on to Texas.
Texas. Let's see. Oh, that was Matthew. Okay. Did we just call Texas?
Oh, the pecan? Pecan.
Yeah.
Wait, you didn't call the Atlanta one?
Let me see. Hold on real quick, bro. Let me look at my
Atlanta was North Trail Street or
Oh yeah, I did. That's the one I called. Sorry. I was just yeah,
Okay.
let me call Robert. Yeah, sorry about that.
You got that pecan pie in your mind. Let's see if
Pecan
Texas
pie.
answers the phone.
Texas.
This is in Junction, Texas.
It's telling me this is not a valid phone number.
Uh-oh. Okay.
It's not letting me dial it out.
Skip it. We'll go to Oregon. Make sure it's the the right contact number.
Yeah.
When you submit these. Oregon. You listen to any country music, Max?
Not as much. Every now and then I'm like all over. Man, my music is like ADD, bro. It's all over the place.
You got to give me a copy of that album when you find it.
I will, bro. I will. Yeah. Is that what you like? You like country music?
I listen to everything. Not much country, though. Not much country. I will tell you, I don't listen to much country.
Connect to 503.
Come on, Deborah. Ooh, Deborah's in Oregon. Looking at downsize.
I can't get to the phone right now, but leave me a message.
All right. Well, let's see if Anthony answers. Where's Anthony, Kentucky?
What if your phone number's calling us as
I'm switching. I have 3 different caller IDs.
Okay.
So I'm
Good.
switching through it because I get that. Let me switch it back over, bro. I mean,
Oh, this
because
one.
that can happen. Yeah, that definitely can
Yeah,
happen. For
this
sure.
one looks
Yeah.
familiar.
You've seen that one before?
RJ spoke with this guy, but I don't know what happened.
All right. Let me select. Let me change the.
This is in Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. Let me use this number. All right. Perfect. So. Okay. All right. Let's call Anthony. What's going on here? Yeah. A lot of times, yeah, with that caller ID, that's a good point. Because your number can get flagged. The only thing is I'm using CallRail, so some of these numbers we don't use them for cold calling or anything, so they're pretty solid. Yeah.
To connect to 502-6.
Let's see.
Well, that one in Jacksonville looks.
Hello.
Hello, Anthony.
Yeah.
Hi, Anthony. My name is Max. I'm calling about your property over at 1404 Walter Avenue.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm calling you because you had spoken to one of my team members and said you might consider selling that property.
Uh-huh.
Probably caught you at a bad time.
Not really.
Perfect.
I
Perfect.
spoke to your team member, then I told him what it took to buy it.
Okay.
That hasn't changed.
Yeah, the notes aren't really that clear. So do you mind if I ask you a few questions and figure out what that was, that price?
$75,000 was the price.
Okay. $75,000.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm assuming that you wouldn't look at any other offers other than that.
Nope.
Oh, okay. What was there someone else there with you?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So I don't know what I can pay for it. Obviously, this is my first phone call with you. But so it sounds like if someone was to give you $75,000 in hand, sounds like you would be ready to move forward.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Can you tell me? So one thing that I'm seeing is that can you tell me a little bit more about the property? How many baths and how many baths and restrooms it has?
1 bathroom, 2 bedrooms, private off-street parking, private drive, and it needs a total rehab except for windows. The windows have been replaced all but one.
Okay.
And I've got that one.
Okay, got it. And is it
other than that, it needs a total rehab.
Got it. Okay. Now, and then so the roof, everything, the kitchen, it needs everything except for for the windows.
Everything.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, needs everything.
Okay. Let me pull up here. So $75,000. You're pretty firm on that. You wouldn't even look at any other offers that would come even a dollar underneath that.
Nope. It's $75,000 cash at closing.
Okay. Let me look here. Let me pull it up to see if we can even get close to that, because I don't even know if I would be able to pay that, but I'm looking right now in your area to see what they're actually going for.
I'll tell you what, why don't you look? Think about it over the weekend. If you decide you want to move forward, you can call back next week.
Okay. Well,
Price goes up next month.
the price goes up next month, huh? When you say that, how much does it go up?
Price goes up next month because next month I'm going to start on it.
You're gonna start fixing it up.
So,
Got it.
yeah.
Well,
I don't sell it. I'm going to fix it up.
okay. Well, like I said, I don't know if I can pay that 75,000. Want to do some homework. I'm actually looking at it.
Fair enough.
And so if I could pay the 75,000 when I call you back next week, it sounds like you would consider putting things in writing and moving forward.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Think about it and call back. Bye.
All right. Bye, sir.
Oh,
Tough guy.
He said, think about the price goes up next month.
Yeah, did you hear that? Sounds like he was in the car with someone and he's going somewhere. I'm looking at this. So Batch didn't show me any comps, so that's why I was kind of going back and forth. And then I went to Zillow. Yeah, 75,000 is too high, bro. I'm looking at stuff selling for like actually rehab. Let's see, something 69,000. Here's one that sold for 69,000.
This one looks sexy right here. That's what I'm talking
Ooh,
about. That's
yeah.
in Jacksonville.
I know you've been eyeing that one, huh? Is that
I
one
like
there?
it. Yeah, that's the next one.
Okay, let's call it.
Got a few in Jacksonville. Then New Jersey, our favorite market here on the deal.
I've heard that's one of your favorites ones. I heard nothing but good stuff in New Jersey, bro.
Yeah, I've heard
All right,
mix.
Jacob. Let's talk to Jacob.
Got a hole on the wall over here. The window's busted.
Is that one it?
Yeah, that's it.
The mailbox number that you are trying to reach is not in service.
Mm.
Goodbye.
Wow. Well, we'll have to. Somebody's gonna have to do a little more homework on that one. That looks like a really good opportunity right there.
Mhm.
Again, a lot of times, even like the one you're showing right there, that's a really good thing to look out for driving for dollars as well too. So people that drive for dollars, and what's cool about driving for dollars is there's a lot of tools now that you can use to call them on the spot too. That way you can call them on the spot, so you don't have to wait to get back.
Hold right here. It's just getting a hold of the owner sometimes
Yep.
can be tricky, but these are really good.
253. All right, let's call Kathleen. I hear you salivating, bro, over these Jacksonville ones.
I like Jacksonville.
Do you?
Yeah.
It's interesting that it's not coming up for me on batch.
Hello?
Hello, Kathleen.
Yes.
Hi, Kathleen. My name is Max, and I'm giving you a call about your property over at 2614 Commonwealth Ave.
Sorry, we're not selling. Thank you, though. Bye.
They got me, bro. Is that a first time on the deal desk?
She's lying. Nah,
I know.
happens all
I
the
know.
time.
No, just kidding. All right.
New Jersey.
What's that?
We're in New Jersey now. The next
Yeah, let's go, baby. Let's see. I love Jersey. Well, actually, we're negotiating a deal right now in New Jersey, but not through direct to seller. But let's see. You just want me to get yelled at, Steven.
I mean, maybe the audience wants to get yelled at. I want to see some action here.
738.
It says Brunswick. And let me see.
Mahander?
Yeah, I
Mahander.
don't know if this is in Bloomfield. I think this is in Bloomfield. Let me take her property off here.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice.
Let's call the other New Jersey. I think there's a second one, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, William. Mr. Williams. Like Manny says, Mr. Williams.
Yeah, Manny Cash was on the show. He talked to an interesting lead in New Jersey.
Yeah, I heard that one. I saw that one. That's actually the guy's like, why are you asking that?
9861.
It could be whatever you want it to be. I remember him. Oh, here we go. Perfect.
This is Will.
Hello, Will. This is Max. I'm calling you because you had spoken to one of my team members about your property over at 154 Paul Robinson Boulevard.
I don't remember.
Yeah, yes. They said they left me some notes here. Say you might consider selling that one.
What's your organization, or who do you represent?
No, it's okay. My company's called Direct Home Buyers. We buy houses nationwide. Yeah, we buy houses nationwide. And they have spoken with you about, potentially selling that property.
It's possible. I live here, so it's not like I'm
okay.
In a big, you guys called me, so
right. Okay.
I'm not going around trying to sell the house right now.
Got it. So it sounds like the only reason you would consider selling is because you're getting quite a bit of calls on this. Is that what I'm hearing?
If someone offered me a price I couldn't refuse, I would probably sell it.
When you say you couldn't refuse, what do you mean by that?
A price high enough, which probably I'm not actually sure what that would be. So I'm kind of a bad. But I'm not trying to sell my home.
Okay.
You're trying to buy it. So
no, that's fine. And this is what. No. I appreciate the honesty and the transparency.
I'm just.
We don't buy every single property from everyone we talk to, and this is why I make these calls.
Of course you don't.
Yeah, this is why we make these calls to see if
business very quickly.
Yeah. And this is why I make these calls to figure out if this is something that we can work on together. And just out of curiosity, why do you think you're getting a lot of calls on this property?
Why do I think?
Yeah,
I'm getting a lot of calls. I don't know.
Okay.
I think that the property from the front looks like some people think it looks abandoned.
Got it.
So that may be why. I mean, it's not abandoned.
Yeah.
It's actually
Got it.
extremely productive.
Okay.
Actually extremely productive. This is a rental market. This is a college town.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know New Brunswick at all.
Mm-hmm. Not really well. Like I said, we buy all over nationwide, so no, I'm not too familiar with it. I know just
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a rental. It's a very heavy rental market.
Okay.
And basically, the income of the house, I think, is what provides you with the valuation of that.
Got it. So this is your personal residence. It's not an investment, or sorry, a rental property, correct?
It's a 2-unit.
Okay, like a duplex?
No, it's a house that I'm not quite sure what to call it, but there are 2 units, 2 completely separate units with 2 separate entrances, and not a cookie cutter house made in the last.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
And it's not a cookie cutter house that was made in the last 20 or 30 years.
Okay.
This is a brick made of solid brick,
mm-hmm.
and it was made long time ago.
Got it. And really quick, William, I'm actually writing some of this notes down. Just to make sure I understand, what's going on. Sorry, I apologize if I interrupt here. Sure. I want to make sure that I understand, so that way we don't end up calling you again. So, all right. Well, it sounds like, you're not really considering selling just because we called you a couple times, but, do you have any other properties you might be considering selling?
I have 2 properties right next to each other. I have 148 Paul Robeson and 154 Paul Robeson. And 148 is completely restored.
Oh, okay.
We gutted it back in 2005.
Got it. Okay.
Put hardwood floors in it and 22 Pella windows. So
yeah. Well, sounds like you're pretty knowledgeable. Awesome. And I appreciate the conversation, William. Hopefully maybe someone can make you that offer that would push you to sell.
You're not really asking any questions or about, like, I don't know. I don't understand your business model other than finding stuff on the ground. Like, oh, look, the house no one wants that they'll want $30,000 for. Great.
Yeah, not necessarily. I mean, my job's to discover and not to convince people to sell. That's my job, just to discover if it's a working relationship.
No, I understand.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good, William. Take care. Bye.
I mean, yeah, I would have done the same thing. He says his house not abandoned, right? He said he lives in this thing.
He lives there, bro. Yeah, and the one he lives in that one right there.
It's just probably his room right here. I don't know how often he talks to people. Okay.
Man.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, you ready for some Q&A?
Let's do it, bro. Sorry, guys, that we didn't get no answers. You Georgia folks dumped your CRM in here, and we called them while they're eating peach tea and drinking lemonade or iced tea.
Hey,
sorry.
Something I noticed is that you say, "Did I catch you at a bad time?" What's the reason for that?
So sometimes, again, it could be because of my accent. I don't know, bro. It's supposed to be a statement, not a question, right? You make the statement, assume an assumption statement, so that way they correct you, right? An assumption statement, that way they correct you. Now, there's some people that might catch on to that. They're gonna say, yeah, you did, right? There's that possibility, but I've used it so much that probably 9 out of 10 people are always gonna say no, you didn't. And the one that says yes is usually because they don't want to talk. That makes sense. And it's supposed to be an assumption statement so they can correct you and say absolutely not. So then that way, when we get into the conversation and they say, hey, you know what? I don't have time for this. I'll call them out. I said, oh, I'm sorry, Steven. Earlier, when we started the conversation, I asked you if I caught you at a bad time and you told me no. What changed? Especially we're having like a good conversation, right? That's leading to something.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So Walter wants to know, what do you do at the moment of getting agreements signed? Do you have them sign over the phone?
So yes, absolutely. We don't send agreements. So we will position it to where we tell them like, look, we're not in the business of sending out agreements. And then we tell them why, right? We explain to them and say what we've had happen in the past. We'll share like a third party story. We send them out. People have questions. And this is pretty legit, like, because people have, and we'll let them know people have questions. And our biggest fear is that they won't pick up the phone and ask that question because they're too embarrassed. And then they say, oh, so now you take that guard down. So if you have another 5 to 10 minutes, I can walk you through the agreement today to make sure I answer all your questions. Are you okay doing that? If they say no, then we'll set up a time for us to actually get on the phone with them later on. We don't ever, we want to get it over the phone with them. We don't want to send them the agreement. Let's see. Did I answer that question right, Steven? What do you do?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah. Do you have any tips for new acquisition specialists?
Yes. You're not going to be able to learn everything off the back. The biggest what I want to say, knowledge gainer is experience. And so you have to get over your fears and just get out there and start talking to sellers and start making mistakes. And then you come back to shows like the Deal Desk where you can gain knowledge. Steven's got a great program as well. I mean, the guy's a bona fide closer. And you come back to his course or the Deal Desk, and you start to tailor those mistakes and those skills, because you can sit here and learn, watch all of his videos from last year, all the videos here, and I can guarantee you, if you're not out implementing, you're not gonna get better. So take action, make mistakes, and then you come back and bring those mistakes and tailor and tweak your approach based on what you're learning on here.
Beautiful. How do you handle sellers with multiple offers? This is something that happens a lot, by the way.
Yeah, it does. Especially right now. I think we're in the land of multiple offers. I don't think there's anybody we talk to that's told us, hey, I'm going to be looking at multiple offers. So two things for us. We either want to be first or last, right? We'd rather be first, come in first. If we had to, let's say that they already got someone scheduled and they can't get us in sooner, we typically like to be last. And the reason why is because if we're not going to buy the house, I'm going to make sure that that I'm going to lay down some landmines to make sure that nobody else buys the house. right? So we're gonna lay down some traps like non-refundable earnest money, proof of funds. We're gonna have the seller write that down to make sure that when they are talking to other people that they're asking for these things to see if they're legitimate, right? Or legitimate buyers. Again, that's the competitive advantage that we have that we talked about when we first started. But if you are in a multiple offer situation, I would say, gauge the prospect to see where they want to be at and ask this question, Steven, if all 5 offers came in and they were all the same, what is that next thing that you would be looking for to make you feel comfortable going with that company?
Say that again. You guys pay attention. Just turn your volume up.
Yeah.
I
So
like that.
if you have a situation, besides what I just gave you, if you have a situation where you have the multiple offer, you ask the seller, look, Mr. Seller, let's pretend all 5 of us made you the same offer equally all across the board. All 5 agreements came at the same offer. What is that next thing that you need to see or hear to make you feel comfortable sell to one of those 5 companies? And whatever it is, that's your in. That's what you're going to provide to them. And that's what's going to separate you, even if the other offers are higher. Because you know what? The offer is actually the smoke screen. There's other stuff that they might need that they're not telling you. Yep.
Yeah, that is solid, guys. Hopefully you guys took note of that. And remember, it's not always price. It could be term, speed of closing. I mean,
bro, let me share a story with you real quick. This
Yeah.
guy, he was negotiating a house. This was a guy that was going to the same sales training class, and he lost a deal because of that. And he got into a multiple offer situation. He was the highest, bro, the highest. That he found out he was the highest.
Yeah.
He left. The people said, how soon can you close? And he told them, I can close in 7 days. We'll get all this done. He made an assumption statement, right? He left, came back, and he said, and they asked him like, hey, what's going on? He followed up with them. Well, we sold to whoever it was. And they're like, what? I don't understand. I was the highest. He goes, yeah, but they were giving us 30 days to stay after you close on the property. We didn't want to close in 7 days. We wanted to close in 30 days and stay another 30 days after the property sold.
That's true. I mean, that's how it is.
Yeah.
How do you deal with arrogant, stubborn sellers? Do you mimic their attitude and being arrogant and stubborn back at them?
Yeah, just call them back, man. Yell at them. No, I'm just kidding. That's the D personality, right? The driver. You got to be careful with those because so the biggest thing with drivers is the fear. They actually do have a fear, which is being taken advantage of. And the reason why is because they make a lot of stupid decisions because I've done them, right? My personality is D. But you can actually match. You can match the tonality. If you're in the appointment, you can match the body language. But here's what you don't want to do. This is you and this is them. You don't want to do this because as soon as you do that, you're gonna get this. You're gonna hang up on, and you're going nowhere. Yeah, it goes nowhere. So you can get intense and like, hey man, and with them, with that type of personality, let's say that you have a sales process. You can always say, look, usually I like to give the very detailed information when I'm talking to sellers. Do you want the very detailed information or do you want me to just run the bullet points by you? And they're going to say, man, just the bullet point. Just give me what you got. And you're going to know right away. You don't have to go through like the whole process. And that's adjusting, right? We have a very thorough sales process, but we make adjustments based on what the seller needs and how they want to approach it.
Perfect.
So don't get in a fight with them.
Nah. Just like you're about to punch this guy on the phone, but you hung up. So
yeah, he did hung up.
All right, a few more questions, guys. How do you get or convince people to sign over the phone? And if they don't want to do it, what is your approach in that case?
Well, first of all, we don't convince anybody to do anything, right? We're not in the convincing business, right? We're in the problem solving and we're in the sifting business. So I think I explained this earlier, right? It's you have to set it up in a way where for us, we're always sharing stories like, here's what's happened in the past. We don't like doing that because we got burned. This is what happened. People are going to ask questions and the last thing they want to do is pick up the phone and ask that question because they're going to feel awkward, embarrassed even. And we just don't want that to happen to you. Now, you got to always maintain your position, man, even if you feel like you're going to lose the deal, but you can't convince people to do anything. Because let's say that you do convince someone, I can guarantee you that you're not going to hear from that person ever again. So the thing is, you got to position and you got to make sure that it's a mutual agreement to, sign the agreement.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. What happens when seller doesn't give their asking price?
Yeah, that's very normal, right? Not all the sellers give their asking price. You got to ask probing questions. Again, we like to make a lot of assumptive statements, right? Like, hey, Steve, sounds like you're trying. Steven is sounds like you're trying. It sounds like you're trying to get the most for the property. No, 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 I'm not trying to get the most. Hey, I just want a fair offer. Okay, when you say fair offer, what do you mean by that? Right. So you got to probe. The last thing approach is anchoring. I know, Steven, you're very big on this, and so are we. Like, and we position it in a way where it's actually not us making the offer. It's more like, hey, Steven, what I'm seeing in the area, and if I know my MAO is 150, I'm seeing other investors paying between like 115 to 120. I'm assuming you probably wouldn't take an offer like that. Absolutely not. That's way too low. So what wouldn't be way too low for you? And then boom, they might even hit you lower than your MAO, or they might say right around your MAO, whatever that is. So you have to ask probing questions, right? And at the end of the day, if they do want you to give them an offer, I would say anchor them, and just to get their reaction to see if they're negotiable, or they're, maybe they might give you the number and they might say, no, absolutely not. That's way too low. I need to get at least this for me to even move forward.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any tips you can give someone who isn't naturally extroverted and good at building rapport? We notice our acquisitions manager struggles with this a bit.
I think that comes down to having a process, man. We got people that are not, extroverted. I mean, for the most part, if you have a good, solid sales process that they can follow, there's no reason why they should follow it. Sales is not about being extroverted. It's not about being a people person. I mean, I don't hang out with people, man. I don't like, I have some extroverted tendencies with me, but dude, I'd rather spend all day with my wife. I don't want to be at freaking, out and about and with a bunch of people and things like that. Like, so it's not about being extroverted. It comes down to having a sales process that they can follow, and then actually knowing and getting that experience where, where they have their introduction, their presentation, and then the building rapport. So you need to have that for them. You need to have a structure, because if you're relying on pure grit and pure, like, people skills, it's going to be tough. Nobody can do that. Do you agree with that, Steven?
I agree with that. You don't have to be an extrovert. You really don't. All right, last two questions. How do you sell a creative financing option such as owner financing if the cash offer doesn't work?
So I'm assuming presenting it to the seller, right? Not sell to like a buyer.
How do you present that?
Yeah. I think you have to do it in the most lamest possible way. And layman means just as regular people that are not in the business. Like, you can't say subject to, you can't say seller carry back. Like, you have to make sure that you tone it down, like something like, hey, Shauna, I know, because the property's paid off. What if I made payments to you? And then I'll be like, well, what do you mean you make payment? Yeah, instead of me going getting a loan with the bank, having to qualify for that loan, pay, I just pay you, and then you're kind of like the bank in a way. And then they say, well, how does that work? Then you got to make sure you always explain it to it in this really simple terms. If they got a mortgage on the property, hey, Shauna, what if we just made the payments to your mortgage company for you? And, we take over the payments, and you don't have to worry about that anymore. So that's kind of how you want to present it. You don't want to get too fancy with it, because you're going to confuse people. And the moment you confuse people, something I learned in sales, the moment you confuse people, guess what? They're going to shut down, and they're not going to want to have a conversation with you because they feel dumb.
Yeah, it's really important to kind of talk to them in language they understand. Like, I don't tell people, hey, I'm looking at some ARV cash comps and all this stuff. They're like, what are you talking about? So awesome. Last question. What happens if you are new and they're asking for credibility for your company as they want to do research?
Yeah. The best thing in this case is to be upfront always, because they're going to ask you no matter what. You can't lie to them, right? So this is where networking with someone like Steven, someone like myself, someone like network with people that are more experienced, especially if you're new, and let the seller know, like, look, Mr. Seller, I work, my boss actually, I work for someone, or I'm partnered up with someone, I'm just here to see if this is a deal that we can work on together. But that requires you to network with somebody, because it's going to be really hard for you to create credibility. And if you lie to them, then you're going to be caught in a lie. So the only way you can actually solve this legitimately, anyways, is to actually network with people and partner. Not you don't necessarily have to partner up, but network with people who could be your buyers. The other thing is your buyer could be your partner, right? You know, me and my partner, you know, buyer XYZ. You know, you don't tell him that he's the buyer, but you know, I've done that before where I made the buyer my partner, or you know, we work together on these deals. Yep. And let them know, like, look, I might not be able to answer all your questions, but I will do is write them down and I'm going to get back to you. So that way I can get you the information you need.
Love it. Awesome, man. Well, guys, we didn't talk to too many people today. I know he talked to a few people, but you got some great tips. I mean, that line alone of the if all the offers were the same other than price, like, you know, what would be your deciding factor? That's really good, because it's not always price.
No, it's not.
But awesome, man. Did you want to say anything to the audience before we wrap up?
Yeah, man. I said everything we did today, you saw a lot of no answers. It's all part of the process. Go through the process. That's where you're going to learn. That's where you're going to grow. Don't be in love too much with the end result, and go through the process so that way you can get better every single day.
There you go. All right, guys. Thank you so much, Max. Guys, have a great week and go crush it. I'll see you next week. Take care.